I have noticed over the past several years of working with beginner gardeners that one of the things that gives the most headaches is growing from seed. So I'll share a couple of tips today that hopefully will be helpful to you guys. Um, because growing from seed, once you get it, it gets easier. It's once you, but you have to practice it, and there's some key things that you do need to know if you want to grow from seed successfully. So I run a small farm, and I'm also a cottage nursery owner. This is my fourth year, but I've been growing from seed for longer than that. And there are some things that I have learned. One is seed quality absolutely matters. And I would say when you are a beginner gardener, you typically are starting out, you don't want to sink a whole lot of money into this. Totally understandable. But do understand that seed quality does matter when you're sowing seeds. And so I've actually recommended to some beginners perhaps start with a higher quality seed rather than the super cheap seeds that you can find easily, because you have a better chance at germination occurring for those seeds. Okay, so for instance, you want to see a higher germination rate because that means you have a higher chance of success with that specific brand and variety of seeds. So make sure that you have a quality seed. Also, make sure that it is a seed that works for your growing zone. Okay, so let's look at this one for instance. This is a Kellogg's breakfast tomato. This is this brand of seeds, right? On here, you're going to see the germination date. This has a 93% germination rate on it, okay? This is 99% pure seed. I grow with seeds that have high germination rates from companies that I've tested and trust, and I've tested a lot of seed companies in this greenhouse. And some that used to be good are not so good anymore. But there are some, like, I want to see a high germination rate because I need to get a return on what I'm trying to grow. Like, I need to be able to know that I'm not wasting time, because stuff like a tomato, you got to get that sown in the right window. You got to have good germination on it if you're going to get your tomato plants then in the ground on time. And in my particular zone, if I don't get tomatoes in the ground on time, then it's going to be too hot if I have too many delays and too many problems with germination, which pushes back my planting time, which can mess up my season, because here we go from 0 to 100 on that heat. So it gets hot, and once it gets to a point where we're hitting certain temperatures, it's too late for me to be putting baby tomatoes in the ground. So I have to make sure that when I'm starting these, they're going to germinate properly. I'm going to have a high germination rate, and I'm not going to have seed also that is, because it's not tested in quality, I'm not dealing with seeds that are potentially not true seed, that are not that have potential to have like diseases and viruses and things because they came from a mother plant that was sick. So that's something too. I think sometimes when you're a beginner, set yourself up for success, because sometimes y'all will get really down on yourselves, like, I'm doing something wrong, and it might not be you. It might be that you're planting weak plants, or that you have seeds that aren't that great, and you're not actually a bad grower. You don't have a black thumb. You just need something that is more consistent and a better quality to give you those consistent and better results. Also, I did a video about me organizing my seeds. That's a mess. But make sure you store your seeds properly as well, okay? Don't do what I've done. Full disclosure, I have stored seeds in this greenhouse in the summertime in South Texas. That's a huge no-no. I know better, but things get hectic and we can't always do it exactly how we need to do it. But not a lot of adverse conditions. If you store your seeds correctly, they tend to last longer. But if you keep them in the up and down temperatures, moisture, humidity, rats and critters will get into your seeds if you don't store them properly. So store your seeds properly. You can experiment with cheaper seeds that you can find, like, at Home Depot, Lowe's, the grocery store, and things like that. But just know they buy those seeds in bulk. I have gone to some of the big box stores and they had the seeds in the heat. Like they're out in the garden center in the heat. That's not good. And then you get the pack and it's like you could tell it's like been humidity because it's sitting in that heat in that foil pack. Like that's not necessarily going to guarantee good results. And I've not had good results from that. So I encourage you, if you want to ensure higher chances of success, because it could be something you're doing wrong, right? But let's eliminate all of the variables, the things that could go wrong, so we can set ourselves up for success. That's a seed starting tip that I will give. Start with good seeds. And in your garden, like I've said before, if you have strong performing plants, save those seeds from those plants. The plant wasn't sick, it wasn't diseased, it wasn't getting beaten down by pests, and it was very productive. That is a plant you want to save seed from because you're going to have a better chance at getting good quality seed that you can then continue those same genetics the next time you plant those seeds, okay? So those are just a couple of tips I would give. I will try to do some videos, more videos about seed starting because I know it's hard, but I promise you, once you practice at it, you work at it, when it clicks and you get the hang of it, you're gonna save so much money. Buying plant starts gets expensive. You will save a lot of money if you master how to grow from seed. Let me know if y'all have any questions. Y'all have a good one.